Something that is important and always asked at the start of every season of Diablo 4 is, what is the best way to level 1 to 70? Players want to get there as quickly as possible to get started on the end game. I know friends that sometimes quit before they even get to 70 because they say it takes too long. Well, I'm going to share with you the quickest leveling method I have found in Season 15. Some of you may already be familiar with this from Season 14, as it's still the Hellworms and the Hell Tides. I was able to get to 70 in 2 hours with having no real super leveling build and no legendary items. I think this can easily be done in an hour and a half or so if you really push yourself and get lucky with the worms. My goal in testing this was to make sure that anyone could do it. I only took gear as it dropped and used a basic build that had synergy for the Warlock, but nothing was really special in that build. I only got one legendary the whole time, and it was a helm that was worthless. All of that to say is you could do this with very minimal gear and a build. This method does start out really slow, but it does end up at super speed once it gets going. So don't get discouraged if you start feeling like I'm an hour in or so and I'm level 25. It's just how the method works. Your goal is to get the 350 experience in Hell Tides as quickly as possible so that you can use the Writhe and Rot node for Hellworms. Once you have that node, it should only take around 30 minutes to an hour at the most to get to level 70 from whatever current level that you're at. Some luck is involved, as the worms do have to spawn, and your Hell Tide timer, depending on when that's going to reset and everything like that, play a role in this. If you want to know where the Hellworms spawn, you can go to helltides.com. Every hour they do have a map with all of the spots of where the Hellworms typically spawn. This is what I learned, is I just learned where the spots were, got a bunch of them close together, and I did those over and over again. So the first thing you need to do when you get your character is make sure you're starting on normal difficulty. You can put it up to hard if you really want to do this, but I tell you, normal is just fine. You're going to level super fast. You don't really need to do anything higher than that. Plus, there's a note I will have later. If you get the 25 too quick, it's not good. So really normal is the best way to go. Once you control your character, go to your war plans, go ahead and look at those and see what you have. If you have double Hell Tide, you got a winner, you're good to go. If you have one Hell Tide, you're still good to go. You can do that one. If you have no Hell Tide, you just want to recreate your character because you can't re-roll the first one. You have to go with what you get there. Just look and see what you get. You need at least one Hell Tide, 2 is best. Now also make sure you do what I forget to do it every season until I'm already halfway leveled, is go get your mercenaries right off the bat. I forgot on this one as well, so I started the first 20 levels I think without my mercenary, and it'll just make it a lot easier to have your mercenary with you. So the next part here is really super important to follow and remember. When you go to the Hell Tide and you get your 75 cinders, do not just under any circumstance, do not open the chest on normal difficulty. There are a couple of methods here, but the one I use is I pin a chest close to a town, and then I teleport back to town. I go change the difficulty to Penitent, and I teleport back to the Hell Tide. Now you'll be back in the town, but that's why you wanted to pin one close to the town. So then you will go right out of town as close as you can and go open it. Ideally, you don't want to fight very many things. If you can get away with it, you could probably kill some monsters, but they're going to be a lot tougher on Penitent. So just try to avoid monsters. Sometimes they're around the chest, though, so you can't do anything about it. You'll want to open the chest, though, and then you will want to teleport out or run back to town as quickly as possible and change the difficulty back to normal. Now, if you have a double Hell Tide, I like to go ahead and farm all my cinders at once, and then I get a couple of chests on my map that I know I like, and then I teleport, change it to Penitent, and I go back and try to get both chests at the same time. Again, though, remember though, if you die, you will lose your cinders and you lose progress. So that's not a winner. So if you don't feel confident that you can find both chests, I would go get one, go back to town, reset it, your difficulty back to normal, go get the 75 cinders, set it back, and then run to the second chest. That's up to you, but for quickness sake, I try to do 2 at once if I had double Hell Tide. The reason for all of this is it counts the Warplan on the difficulty it was completed on, not the difficulty you turn it in material on. So instead of 25 experience points, it gives you 43 for each Helltide, and you need 350. So that's going to get you there a lot faster to do it that way. So make sure that you turn them in on whatever difficulty you want, but you need to complete them, which is opening the chest on penitent difficulty. On your next Warplan, you will need to fish again for Helltides. You can re-roll these. Now, this is up to you. If you get one Helltide, one Nightmare Dungeon, it's okay to do that. I would not gamble if you have at least one Helltide in your second one to go to the third one, because if you get double Nightmare Dungeon, you just kind of wasted your time. So if you might gamble the first couple to see if you can get double Helltide, but if not, I wouldn't do it if you already have a Helltide. Now, if you have double Nightmare Dungeon in the second one, go ahead and re-roll it. Hopefully you don't get double in the third. So it's up to you if you want to gamble at all on any of that. I would recommend if you have one Helltide and you're comfortable with that, just go ahead and run it. You get the 40 experience, come back, and maybe get double on the next one. So just be careful with that, because that could be a big time waster to have to do 2 Nightmare Dungeons just to go back and re-roll the thing. So you will want to repeat this until you get to 350 experience in Helltide, so that you can get the Writhe and Rot node and the Warplan tree. This is what makes the Hellworms spawn and the Helltides. They spawn already, but they spawn with maggots and a Pang of Duriel that will give you just a ton of experience globes that will just give you level after level. One big note though is if you hit level 25 before you finish this part, your war plans will expand to more activities, which make it slightly harder to get the Helltides done. So you want to try to get them done as quickly as possible before 25, and if it happens to go after, that's fine. It was after for me, and I got a double Helltide and finished it up at the last one. So it can be done after that. It's just you got to get a little more lucky with the events that happen on the Warplan node. Also, if you feel like gear is not dropping or you feel weak, you can check the vendors, or make sure to when you do the Nightmare Dungeons that you just pick up all the loot. You know, hopefully you get lucky with some loot as you level up, but I just picked up everything on the ground, and just if it's better toughness, put it on. If it's better damage, put it on. I had no issue killing monsters or staying alive. It get a little touchy as you get a little higher because more damage output, but overall I was able to do all of this with just picking up the gear on the ground and never getting a legendary piece or an aspect or anything. I wouldn't really waste your time with all that anyway. You're leveling, so as you level up, the gear gets better, especially once you hit 60 plus. All of a sudden, massive increase to damage on weapons and survivability on gear. Even though the enemy's hit points go up, you will survive a lot more and be able to do a lot more damage. So I didn't waste a lot of time with that. I just did it with the yellows and blues I had on all the way through. So once you have the Writhe and Rot node and the Hellworms are spawning, you need to make sure you check the helltides.com. That, again, if you haven't mapped that out already, do that now. Go ahead and start mapping that out now so that you know where to go. I just found clusters of worms, and I would just go around the circle. I didn't go around the whole map. I just found like a location where there's, you know, I could run around a specific part of the zone that spawned a lot more worms. They do spawn more frequently at higher threat levels. So you will want to ideally have your bar at half or higher. They can spawn it lower than that, but it's just not reliable. So I always get my threat level to half before I even start doing this. You can kill monsters, do events, open chests, and the such to do that. I will note that if you are over the halfway mark, do not use your cinders to open any chests until you reset the threat meter back to normal. That way you can push the threat meter back up, and also you get all that loot at that point, but you don't want to push it over when the worms are spawning, because that's just going to waste your time. You will also get a ton of cinders from this, so you will be opening every chest in the whole area. Then hopefully you'll get gear to destroy these things with. As we said before, once your threat meter is over half, just run a circle around that area, around the map that you've mapped out, and they will just spawn and come out and play, and you will kill them and get glorious amounts of experience points and be level 70 in no time. And as you can see here, I leveled very quickly in just a few minutes after I got this node. Here's some video of that where you see me running around, and this was just all in a few minutes. I was able to get worm after worm after worm, and I went from level like 33 all the way to 60 in 20-30 minutes. So it doesn't take much time at all to do that once they start spawning for you. I do want to note 2 additional items here. Currently this does work on the PTR, but Blizzard could nerf this. Note to Blizzard, please don't. This is playing the game and I'm not manipulating anything to do this. It's a really good method to farm experience with. It takes a little bit of effort and planning. It's not just jumping in a dungeon and getting massive experience. Like I actually have to do something to get it, and it takes a little work. You can't do it from level 1. You have to actually play the game some to get it. Please don't nerf it. Also, Season 15 mechanics will be in place at launch and could change some of this. I know the challenge dungeons are in the game now. I did run across several of those to try, and I didn't find them in their current state to be worth doing as you level up, unless you just really want to get some maybe gear or something. The experience at level 22 I got 27k, and at 33 I got 17k. It just wasn't great. It wasn't worth my time doing those. They have a lot of walking sometimes to get to the location, and your movement speed sucks at level 20, so you don't want to really be messing around with these too much, and there's not much to them. You can get gear though, but it's not really worth your time. But this could change at launch, so they could up this and make this a really powerful way to level in the live version, but I don't think so based on what we've seen in the PTR. So as of now, this will be the leveling strategy that I use from 1 to 70 in Season 15. You can also use this to power level your paragon. Your first 200 levels will fly by with this method. I got the 293 this season doing this. I mean, I would never have gotten there if I didn't have this method. I'm not like playing it to that point where it takes forever the normal way to get there. I don't know how people do it. So this method is really helpful for that. It will make your season a lot more enjoyable when you're Paragon 200 plus, and you don't have to spend 5,000 hours to do it. So now that you are prepared to power level yourself to 70 in Season 15, let me know in the comments below if you will be using this method, or if you have a better method that you want to share with everybody. I'm still working through a lot of the Season 15 updates, and we'll bring more content on those. To ensure you get those videos, go make sure you subscribe. Until next time.